Welcome everyone who's here tonight. Officially call the meeting to order. Councilor London.
Present.
Councilor Spivey.
Present.
Councilor Beardy. Here. Councilor Wilson. Present. Myself present. If you had a chance, you should have had the ability to peruse the minutes from the pre-council and regular council meeting on July 19th. I would accept the motion to approve or take any amendments that might need to be done.
I make a motion that reading of the minutes be dispensed with since each council member received a copy and that they be approved as submitted.
Do I have a second on that motion?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Show me abstaining from that, I was abstaining.
Thank you. Councilor Spivey.
Yes, sir. I make a motion for the approval of current bills for payment in the amount of $236,244.24.
Second.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Motion carries. Do we have any professional or consultant reports tonight? Thank you. And Mayor?
Yes, I'll be very brief. First of all, good evening, everyone. I'm happy to see you here. Glad that you're here for this meeting. I have just one announcement. Town hall meeting, I think this will be the fifth one that we've done in this administration over the past 22 months or so. It's one of the commitments that I made, that we would have these open forums, that you would have an opportunity as residents of Irondale to come and ask your questions and share your thoughts. And so we will be having another one. The next one is on August the 16th at 6 p.m. here in this room. August the 16th at 6 p.m. here in the council chambers. You all are invited to come. We'll have an open discussion for about an hour or so at that evening. Okay, and that's all I have. It sounds like you've got plenty to discuss, so I'll make
Thank you, Mayor. Appreciate it. Any department head reports? All right, thank you. And start with council members. Start on this end.
All right, thank you. Actually, I'm glad to see everyone also, but I do not have a report. I would like to say that the Holiday Gardens Neighborhood Association did put on a fun day at the park, and don't allow me to give the incorrect date. It was July the 20th, 21st. It was that Saturday. I'm sorry, I'm getting old. But, and, you know, I'm just glad everyone just came out, or whatever the case may be, and we're looking forward to doing more things, not only in Holiday Gardens, but in the city of Irondale. Thank you.
I don't have any report, but I would like to thank the fire department, Captain Neighbors and the driver of fire truck number 2 came to my house this morning, had a deer caught in the fence in the door, in the house next door, and they did a great job getting him loose and turning him back into the wild. So I'd just like to thank the fire department for the good work they do.
I always appreciate it. Thank you. Councilor Spivey.
Thank you, everybody, for being out. I want to recognize Jenny Brown real quick. I want to say thank you for all the hard work you've been doing down by the Cahaba. I know there's some things that I would love to talk about, but I know we can't talk about them just yet. But I just want to recognize her for working with multiple organizations to take care of our Cahaba entrance off of Grants Mill. So thank you.
Thank you so much. Councilman.
Thank you, Mr. President. Good evening, everyone. Just want to announce a park committee meeting on Tuesday, August the 14th. And at that meeting at 5:30, and at that meeting, we had, Mayor and myself and David have met with some people that want to come and use our park, so I'm going to give them an opportunity to come present to the council on Tuesday, August 14th, 5:30. Thank you.
Just a quick mention, it kind of ties two things together. The Irondale Arts Council, Grantswood Elementary falls in my district. It is my adopted school. And the Irondale Arts Council did buy supplies and donate to the art teacher to help her this year with things that she needed. And I know those were sorely needed. I hope those weren't the crayons that got the recall for the asbestos. It was, and they did have a very successful pop-up art show. All the artists were very pleased, good turnout. Appreciate the mayor and some others showing up and supporting that effort. But again, it worked real well. At this point, any reports from boards and non-council committees? I don't see the shoemaker here tonight. She does have there will be a chamber meeting coming up this Thursday at 11:30 at the Very Good Place Country Club. This time we will have one of our senators, so it's probably worthwhile being there if you want to. And I think our next meeting is going to be our director of DOT. So I've got two top-notch speakers coming up at that meeting. Okay, anybody would like to attempt to approve the agenda tonight?
I'll make a motion that we approve the agenda submitted.
Okay, do I have a second on that motion?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. And now, we will take comments from the public on agenda items only, please. If anybody wanted to make any comments, this is on agenda items. If you've got your paperwork filled out, then please come forward. Come on.
Going up? Go ahead.
We'll find you, Cal. Thank you.
Cal Pass, 5637 Hampton Road. We should not get into any open-ended contracts for more than 50 cents. We don't have the money to play with. If we're gonna do something worthwhile, that's a good idea. But we don't need to go into open-ended contracts. It's not a good idea.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Mr. Jones?
Pursuant to our meeting last night, I've followed the guidance of our chief of police and changed the direction and things that we're using for the Whistle Stop Festival, i.e. celebrate Irondale. I can't use Whistle Stop Festival because that's a bad word. I'll get you on. This proposal is handing out to folks is very similar to one I emailed to everybody before, making the adjustments in the location and what roads needed to be blocked off. Since that time, since last night, I've gotten signatures from 3 people of the 4 that need to be on the list in order to get to a special events application. We submitted the money about 2 months ago. I get the chief's okay on it, fire department. But tonight, I'm asking for you to get an opportunity to exchange clubs to sell beer. It may seem like this is maybe the cart in front of the horse, but I'm caught in time strain, getting this license taken care of across the street, and all I need is a statement from y'all allowing a exchange club to sell beer, and then I go get my licenses. So this can be looked at at your next council meeting, hopefully it will be approved. If there's some discussion on it, I'll be happy to sit down and talk with any councilman individually or mayor to be able to satisfy what's on there. So I would appreciate you passing on the ordinance to allow me to, well, not ordinance, plan to sell beer. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Jones. Any additional comments on the agenda items?
Virginia Bearden, 4056 Sherborne Lake Road, Irondale. About the parks, all of the things that was mentioned that's going to be put over there, I just don't see how we're going to have baseball park, how we're going to have baseball fields, because if you're going to put all that, we don't have that much room over there. But I think it needs to be tabled and some hard discussion done. I agree, it needs to be done. I worked with the Goodmans and some of the other people in the city this year on baseball and concession stand and all, and I just feel like that y'all need to do a little more discussing amongst yourself, and please don't make it another sidewalk deal. Let's get it done, but let's do it right and not have it cost us a lot more money than it should.
Thank you, ma'am. Any additional comments from, yes, ma'am? Thank you.
Cindy Cuellar, 5729 Belmont Drive. I was here last night and this evening, and I do have some concerns about this contract. And one of the things I'd like to suggest that you consider doing is, yes, do an RFP, but you as a council come together and come to an agreement as to what it is that you'd like at Ruffin Park. Now, Mr. London has had meetings with the park committee, share that information with the other counselors, and then once you know what it is that you're wanting, then you go out and get the RFPs and tell these contractors, here's what we're looking for. Tell us how you're planning to go about making this happen and how much is it going to cost us. But I do agree that $15,000 is a significant amount, and I think as stewards of the city's funds, you need to make sure that other people are in this bidding process. Don't just go with one person because they've done a lot of work, but you need to get other people involved before you make a decision. And be clear on what it is that you want from them, and that they're clear in what they're telling you they're going to do as part of this proposal. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Any additional comments from anyone attending tonight? All right. If not, then we'll go straight into new business.
I do have one question
Yes, sir.
before we proceed with new business. All right, so the way the resolution is worded, City Council of Irondale, city authorized the mayor to contract with Charles Williams and Associates to create a conceptual design for renovating Ruffner Park for the amount of $15,000. Now, the literature we received was obviously what I read off of earlier. So, and Leslie, this might be a question for you, is since this is the literature we were given to read that the resolution is based off of, does the text in this hold, or are we simply approving the mayor to contract for only a conceptual drawing?
You can do it however you want to. The way I read this is that it just authorizes the mayor to contract them to create a conceptual design for $15,000. All we know that they are willing to accept that is what they had in their life.
Right.
And so that's where you may run into an issue, is that you authorize the mayor to contract with them and then advise him that you are not willing to have that extra language, that you're going to be tied into the next stage of design with that same company. You can do that. And he can go to them and he can say, here's what I've been authorized to do, and they may say, fine. And they may say, we're not willing to do it for 15 unless we know that we get that next stage as well. And so then you may end up having to look at it again, but you certainly can go that route.
Mr. President, you know, again, Charles Williams is a great guy. He's a young guy. They have Charles Williams Associates is a great organization. After conversation with him today, to keep his name out of negative Facebook pages, negative comments in the community, I would make a motion to pull this resolution from this contract, just to protect them in this company, because they're a great company, and I don't want to see his name thrown out on Facebook page negatively. So on his behalf, on this organization's behalf, I would like to move this resolution from the agenda. Take it on the agenda. Allow the council to go out and get your RFP, if that's what you're willing to do, and then we'll move from there. That's my motion.
I got a comment.
Let's call it discussion on the motion. Thank you. We do have a motion in place, but it hasn't been seconded.
I'll second.
Okay. Call for it.
Yeah, that's fine, but I just want to mention to Councilman, I totally disagree with that. You know, we go back and forth on things, and I just got a question. We did a renovation for the fire station. Is that correct? Not too long ago, did we?
Before this administration.
No. I think Brad came in here and submitted some plans or something.
We
We did a renovation. That's what I said in the beginning. We did a renovation. I said that. Did we use the same firm who either did the original design or they did something? Did we use the same people?
No, there
We
were
did?
two separate companies actually did the design, but the contract was awarded through the RFP process.
Okay, so we didn't use the same people for the fire station who did the original design or something? I know he had some drawings or
No,
something.
because the people who actually did the design were architects.
Okay,
The individuals who actually did the renovations was a construction company.
but the people who actually did the architect on the building, didn't we reuse them or something? Something happened. I wish Brad was here.
I can remember Councilman Wilson, it was two separate entities. It was Terry and Associates who did the drawings, and it was, I can't remember the name of the company, but we went through the RFP bidding process to award the contract for the builder for that particular project, because it was close to $300,000. No, I'm sorry, it was actually $600,000. So we did do an RFP for that building.
Okay, because of the amount.
Yes.
So,
That's all.
The law, the state law requires an RFP to anything $50,000 in order, is that not right?
Not necessarily,
Depends on the
because
nature.
if it's something that deals with professional services, you do not have to go through the RFP process, and that would be for attorneys, architects, surveyors. So there are certain professions that when you hire those individuals, because state law said that they are a professional, have a professional designation, engineers, you do not have to go through the RFP process.
yeah, if I could just make a comment. I think whether you act on this motion that is currently on the floor and approve it, or whether you approve what's on the agenda right now, the end result can be the same in the sense that even if you approve what's on the agenda, all you were doing is authorizing me to go and work out details of that contract. By doing the way Councilor London is now suggesting, we can still go back, get that scope of work, flesh it out, and bring you more information, more detailed information, which I think is where some of the heartburn is here. And get that in your hands and hopefully come to consensus among ourselves of what is a good next step to take. So I think we can still achieve the end goal if everybody will just kind of work together on that going forward from here, regardless of which action you take tonight.
And if we follow through with the motion that's currently on the floor, how quick can we get everything back in progress so that we would have something to present to the council?
My guess would be is that we can bring something back to the next council meeting if you want it that quickly. So, I'm going to state again for the record, I've been saying this for over a year now, for a year and a half. We need to do something, and we need to act, and we need to have a plan. We need to make sure that we're doing it right, and we need to make sure that we're being prudent in our decisions, but we do need to act. So I don't want any indication from me other than that is that we need to do something about our parks.
Motion on the floor and seconded. Let's do a roll call vote. Start with Mr. London. Mr. Spivey.
Yes.
Mr. Bearden.
Yes.
Mr. Wilson.
No,
And myself, yes. So we effectively are going the second route. We intend to have something back by the next meeting, correct? That everybody can actually, okay. All right, second one on the agenda. Heard it shown.
Make a motion with resolution 2018 R43 approved.
Do I have a second on that motion?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. And third item,
Make a motion that resolution 2018 R44 be passed.
and y'all have a copy of the full resolution in front of you, and you can review that. Do I have a second on that motion?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
yeah.
Yes. Okay. Motion carries. Okay, thank you. And now we're open for public comments on things that are not on the agenda. If you would, please bring your form forward, hand it to the city clerk. discussion. We do have a 3-minute rule in the meantime, so please
I'll be
don't
less
feel
than 3
insulted if I
minutes.
cut you. Don't apologize.
No, no, I'm a
Thank you.
teacher, I keep it short.
Thank you so much.
My name is Marianne Pledger, and I'm honored to serve at Shea Valley High School as a history teacher and English as a second language specialist. I've served for about 6 years in the Irondale community. What I'd like for you guys to remember is that the teachers who serve in the Irondale schools are also mothers and fathers, and we have families as well. And yes, it seems like 1% is not a lot, but in fact, my family.
You're referring to specifically?
The occupational.
All right, thank you, ma'am.
Yes, sir. That's roughly $600 from me. That provides for my children for their health insurance that are not covered, for the different disabilities that my children have. So that is very important and vital, that my family desperately needs that $600. And that covers maybe 2 months. This is the same family that has served this community with the same heart and compassion that I have. Over the last 6 years, I've started an organization called 2535, and this organization provides for around 120 children in Irondale schools. We come to your community and we feed on every break from school so the children are not hungry. We also provide every single Christmas present, wants and needs, that these children have asked for. Not because we feel like we need to, but because we want to be the hands and feet of Christ. And that's my family. These small children are spending their breaks from school unloading boxes for delivering in the trailer parks and in the apartment complexes, in the neighborhoods. They're going out and they're seeing, and they're being a part of this, and they're breaking this community as well. I heard you say, Councilmember Wilson, that we have the best schools in the system.
Yes, we
in the
do.
state, and I proudly agree with you. But what makes a good school? What makes a good school, I would argue, is teachers. And these teachers are all the same teachers that support the organization that I do. And they do many more things that I don't do in different ways to give back to this community. As coaches, as sponsors that go beyond the hours of the 8 to 3 that we give, that some of them are long away from their families, giving back to this community in many different ways, and that we are all helped out and been a part of. I just want to leave you guys with this, and that the teachers that you're taking this money from have embraced this community, and they've all served and willingly stayed in these schools to give back and serve this community. All I'm asking is that you guys extend the same grace that we extend every day in our classrooms and beyond those four walls.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. This is a business meeting, so applause, please, would you hold it? We appreciate what people are saying, and we appreciate your support for it, but it's not the place to be clapping for anything to say. Thank you so much. Yes, ma'am, please. Please. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. My name is Mary Smith. I've been teaching at Shea Valley High School for the last 12 years. I recognize a lot of your faces. I'm just here, I understand what Irondale's gone through, as are a lot of our other, communities. I just want to put a little bit of perspective. A lot of us put a lot of money into our classrooms. You know, we don't really get a lot of money. The $50 that would come out of my check is $50 I can't spend on your kids, on all of our kids. And honestly, I put at least that much in my classroom. So it's not just taken out of my own family, but I give back to Irondale. I shop here, I eat here, I choose to work here. My husband, unfortunately, has a business in a different part of town, so we live there. But I'm committed to being here. So I want to thank you, but I also want to let you know what that's going to do for me to be able to do for all of our kids.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Yes, ma'am.
Like any teacher, I have a stack of papers here. So some of these papers I would like to be able to send to you or email to you so that you can hear what my colleagues have to say. But County employees, Jefferson County Board of Education employees to stand so that you can see those that represent the teachers, administrators, counselors, child nutrition workers. But I will send these emails to you, but I want to get to some of these points about this occupational tax. First and foremost, I would like to ask you a question, and that question is, what is your why? Why do you get up every single day? What is your purpose? As a teacher, as the 2017 Alabama Teacher of the Year, and on behalf of all of my colleagues, teachers, coaches, counselors, administrators, bus drivers, custodians, school nurses, child nutrition program employees, and paraprofessionals, I know what my why is. And I want you to be certain that we are here tonight with students at the forefront of our minds. With every single decision that we make in schools, we should ask ourselves, is this in the best interest of our students? We feel that our history with the city of Irondale has been a long and excellent one, and we want it to continue that way. But the way that this occupational tax was brought up and voted on has not been in the best interest of the Jefferson County Board of Education employees who are working in this district, in this area. 2 board members were absent. There was a 2-to-1 vote with a board member changing his vote later to make a unanimous vote. You must understand why this looks questionable. Over the last year, we have lost many programs and monetary support from the city of Irondale. To name just a few of our losses, a City of Irondale supported school resource officer, gone. The Shades Valley High School Fire Academy program, gone. The Shades Valley High School Police Academy program, gone. Irondale police officers as escorts for our football team and band, gone. Grants to classroom teachers, gone. But what isn't gone is the $500 to $1,000 to $2,000 that the average teacher spends on his or her classroom. And we are allowed to take $250 as a tax deduction. But if you do some research, you will see that we spend 4 to 8 times that amount out of our own pockets. One teacher talks about the snacks that she started to purchase out of her own pocket for the sake of her students who couldn't focus or concentrate in her class. But you need to read those letters because that is the reality of our schools. Irondale has paid in the past for the removal of things like kudzu and overgrowth and removal of dead trees along the perimeter of athletic fields and our track, and that's no longer happening. We Jeffco Ed employees are being subjected to unfair taxation compared to similarly situated Jefferson County employees who don't have to pay this occupational tax. We have heard that 20% of Irondale's shortfall in the budget will be supported by Jeffco Ed employees whose salaries are already lower, substantially lower than surrounding districts. And we must ask ourselves, why do these Jefferson County employees continue to teach? We want to teach in this area because we love our students, because we love our schools.
Thank you. Appreciate it, ma'am. Is that basically, is there anybody else that has something different to add, or is this basically, you're going to send us some emails on this?
Yes, I'll send you these emails.
And we would appreciate that very much. I would mention,
Well, let me-
please remember, excuse me 1 minute,
Okay.
if I may.
All right.
Remember that there is a fund that any citizen within the city limits of Irondale can contribute to by going by the waterworks and filling out a form, and that money is designated specifically for our schools. We have some funds in that particular fund currently, but it can always increase, so encourage anybody that's there. As a matter of fact, the last request we got from the school, we funded from that because we have no funds at the city level. So the private citizens can help as well to offset some of this. But please keep that in mind, and please encourage anybody that you know, if they have a way to contribute, they're more than welcome to.
And we urge you to consider other innovative ways to support the shortfall besides taxing.
Thank you. Ms. Wilson?
Actually, like I stated earlier, I've been here a long time, and we have made provision for some of our citizens to go beyond the 3-minute limit. Actually, I was gonna ask, I didn't get her name when she first came up, but I was gonna ask her just to summarize basically what she was trying to convey to us. And basically, I guess the message was the 1% occupational tax that you had concern with, basically.
That is basically our concern, is this 1% occupational tax. We feel like Teachers are already working, not just during the school day, but we work days, nights, weekends, and on vacations for the sake of our students. And we are financially strapped. We have been given a recent increase, and this 1% tax will negate the 1% increase that the Jefferson County is supporting us. And you know, year after year, I mean, I noticed my homeowners association dues over the last 10 years has gone up 50%. All of the services that I use in my daily life have gone up from 10% to some even 100%. But my salary since I started working as a teacher since 1999 has not gone up more than 7% because of standard of living increases. So I think very few people realize what teachers, the burdens that this will have on the teacher.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Thank you. I would encourage every member of the council, each of us have a school that we basically appointed ourselves to based on the district. I would encourage you to go by, visit with the principals, visit the teachers, see what's going on, and you know, see where we might be able to help using what resources are available. But again, please encourage anybody that you know that might be able to support. There is a way to do it. If there are any additional comments?
One reason we did that because we had the educational funds. That's why we split it up to make sure that every school had the equal opportunity to do some of the things that they're talking about. But we don't have that anymore. We don't have education funds anymore.
That was cut off?
Yeah, that was cut off. So we don't have that. We don't have that anymore, and that's what they were saying. You know, maybe we can find some ways, you know, to help them figure a way to bring it back. And I've got a few ways, and I've shared it. I've shared it before, but it goes on deaf ears to take anything.
Well, right now, we do have about $15,000 in the Waterworks Fund that's still available. If somebody would like to apply, we can use some of that money. So there is money available currently as we look at other options.
Well, basically, and I really need to say this, you know, like I said, I've been here 15 years. You know, we have always allotted money for education for our kids. And I don't want to get on that. Actually, I want to talk about the budget. We have always set money in our budget for education. We have, basically, since 2012, we have always been allotted, council's been allotted discretionary fund to help out in their district. Most of our money, or I know mine's did, went to schools. So we have cut those resources that we had to make available to the community, and now this is what we get. And like I said, I'm not talking about what was just presented just a few minutes ago. I'm talking about our budget. If we're gonna be good stewards, and instead of listening to people who have not, you know, been voted in on the council or whatever the case may be, they don't know what it's like to be here for 15 years and not be able to help the community. So once we go back and look at our budget, we need to really take these things into consideration, because we're here for a purpose, and that's to help the community. It doesn't matter what it is, our schools, our community, our kids, it doesn't matter.
And remember, our first commitment is fire, police, and the other supportive services. So again, I think we've got a new budget period coming up. We may have opportunity, but unfortunately, a lot of that opportunity will come from the new occupational tax. So again, but there is funds out there available. There is a method to submit for those funds. Anybody willing to go forward? Do we have any other comments?
I just want to say to the teachers that are here today, I appreciate what you do. My kids are all grown and out, and I have grandkids and I have grandchildren in the Irondale schools, and I appreciate everything they do. But you're not the only one that pays an occupational tax. My husband pays one working in Birmingham City. I have a son that is a school teacher, and he goes out and works extra jobs to balance out his with children. He's a youth pastor. And if you're going to point your finger at anybody about the occupational tax, it needs to be pointed at the 792 people that voted no on the property tax.
Any other comments tonight? Yes, ma'am.
Hi, I'm Nicole Milam, and I'm here representing Greenwood Community School. We would like you to consider that we could easily leave and work for any other Jefferson County school, making more money after this occupational tax is in effect. And if that happens, teachers, police, firefighters, they're all gonna leave and go somewhere else. And the people that come in to replace them may not be exactly who you want. And the schools are gonna go downhill, safety's gonna go downhill. Irondale's not gonna be what it is now.
Thank you, ma'am. Appreciate it.
Any additional comments tonight? If not, I will accept the motion. Oh, somebody else? Goodman?
Good evening, gentlemen. Thanks for hearing us out. I think the budget comes out in September. I was hoping that y'all were possibly gonna come back to this issue, consider the occupational tax temporary, ask whether or not it was an emergency measure or something extending into the future. And maybe a amenable way forward. And I don't know if all of my colleagues would agree with this. There's nothing better than money in a paycheck. But for the temporary time period, if a grant could be offered to each individual teacher for their classroom, most teachers are spending, like she said, $500, $2,000 in a class anyway. So it would eventually come back to the teacher because they wouldn't have to spend that money out of their own check.
Yeah, I, one more thing before, Mayor, you mentioned that we'll have the budget in, September, you said? September? And our fiscal year ends, what, September 30th?
September 30th.
Yeah. So that's what, 29 days, I guess, we have to look at it and kind of peruse it and whatever the case may be?
Depends on what time it is.
Okay. I've been here 15 years, and I've never had the budget in September to make a decision by October 1st on the budget. I've never done it. I've always gotten it during the summer.
No, you haven't, because the year we came in, there wasn't even a budget done.
No,
so-
as far as discussion, we've at least been presented a budget to work on. So I've never had that small of a time to look at a budget and kind of peruse it and go over it. So I guess my question is, can we not get it any sooner?
We'll get it to you as soon as possible.
I can remember years when we didn't get the budget done until November and December.
No, we have always gotten the budget sometime during the summertime. I was chair of finance, so I know for a fact that we have gotten it during the summer in the past. So I'm just not sitting here saying.
I think it will move forward as quickly as we can, knowing that at the hospital, which had a budget 5 times the amount of this budget, we turned it around in 30 days every year, but.
That's still not enough time.
And again, and always did well. So again, that's another discussion. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Any opposed? Thank you. Thank everyone for being here, and thank you all for the work you do.